I suppose I was destined for footy. You know, Dad's one of 10 boys, and a lot of them played rugby. He played rugby himself. He captained Southland. Mum played rugby. You know, so basically we were a rugby family. I said to Mum when I was probably about 15, 16 that I wanted to be a professional rugby player. At that time, my uncle was playing for the Crusaders, and yeah, she sort of laughed and said, "Well, you're going to have to do a hell of a lot more hard work than what you're doing now." And we went from there.
Well, Corey Flynn, I bet he enjoys playing behind this dominant pack. That smile tells it all, doesn't it?
I remember the year before, I was playing against Todd Blackadder, and now he's the coach. But back then he'd just left, and then to get the opportunity and be a part of that forward pack, and you know, I learnt so much in that first year, and I just wanted to be a part of it, and I knew that was going to be the best thing for my rugby. Hammer was obviously the starting hooker. The boys used to call him Grizz. I didn't really talk to him unless I was talked to. He was the old hard bugger, and you know, he relished his name. He didn't like to be the old grizzly guy, but I think he secretly really did. And then you got guys like Norm Maxwell, who, you know, any more laid back he would have been horizontal, but you get him on the rugby field and absolutely uncompromising. You know, finding all these things out for the very first time was awesome. You know, I'd spent the last 10 years watching them on TV, and it was great to be a part of.
Here is Corey Flynn via Southland, via Canterbury. Now into the All Blacks, the surprise selection in the World Cup squad.
What was I, 22? Thrust into a World Cup, and while it was awesome, I think I probably got a little bit big-headed and stuff like that, where that should have been the time where I was just absolutely knuckling down and really trying to perfect my position. The way I got told was probably a little bit out of the ordinary. John Mitchell was actually ringing Andrew Hoare to tell him he never made it, but his PA had given him the wrong number, so he rang me instead, and at the end of the conversation told me that I was in. So I sort of knew before the team was named, but I was still doing cartwheels for about 2 hours around the house before that team naming, so it was a pretty special time.
Now Corey Flynn puts the foot down, gets away, and still going. Quite good. Brushing aside tackles, and Corey Flynn scores.
You'll hear players talking about balance and making sure you've got a life balance, and having kids actually gives you that life balance, because it doesn't matter what you do at work. You know, you come home and you put your bags down and the kids are on top of you, and you know, they're wrestling and they're reading books, that sort of stuff. So as soon as you finish, you forget about footy. And it is great, you know, so it keeps you fresh. And you know, also you got to make sure that you have enough time for yourself too, because you can burn yourself out with both aspects. So it is a bit of a juggling act, but you know, it's nothing that you or anyone else isn't going through. So you just do it. Yeah, I suppose, you know, like when I first come in, all I had to do was my job. You know, I only had to focus on you know, scrumming well, throwing well, running with the ball, and tackling, and that's all I had to do. You know, it was up to guys like Mertz, Marshy, Hammer, Reuben. They run the ship. We just did our job, and that was it. As I've gotten older and more experienced, and as younger guys come in, I've had to sort of take over that role and work myself into it. At the start, I probably wasn't as good as what I could have been, but you know, that's experience, and that's what it gives you. Now it's all about grooming the guys that are going to take over my spot. You know, I'm realistic. I know I'm not going to last forever. It's not what it's about, you know. But also, I'm not going to give the jersey away. So the guys that come in and take it off me have got to be good enough to do it, because that's what Hammer, you know, he expected that of me, and he never gave me one inch, but he knew that I was going to be good enough to do it. So he helped me, and that's what I do. You know, we've got Cody and Ben Fennell, Cody Taylor and Ben Fennell, and they're definitely good enough to do it. So if they want it bad enough, then in time they'll take it.
Be a line out five, they're taking it quickly. Corey Flynn!
there's a few stories that go. One was that my wife would let me eat KFC, and so that was me doing the chicken. But the actual story is when we were just lads in Invercargill, out having a couple of cokes and stuff after a game of footy. If we got it, when we'd get excited, we'd do the chicken, and now we're all spread around the world and stuff like that. But I know that if there's a Crusaders game on, they're usually watching. So if I'm lucky enough to get over the try line, it's just to say good day to all the boys. Toughest scrumming opponent would be Anton Oliver. I remember one time I come on after 60 minutes. After 60 minutes of the game, and Hammer come off, I come on, and him and Carl Heyman squeezed me that hard that I come up seeing stars. I nearly fainted, actually. I was quite happy I didn't. And then you got the two old bulls ahead of me with the All Blacks, and great mates. Really good mates with them boys, and we've had some great battles, and they're two hookers that I absolutely respect. Motivations now is like I said, to help these young guys come through, to get the next generation of Crusader and keep this jersey strong and the brand strong, and hopefully win a title. I could probably retire as a happy man.